A warm greeting to everyone watching, listening, hearing all things in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another episode of Wisdom Podcast. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Today, I got you guys a very awesome guest. One of the most amazing songwriters who has ever lived on planet Earth. I've got some questions I didn't tell him about, but yeah, we're going to talk about them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bongani Msiza, my good sir. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm great. How are you? Uh,
Wa-
Thank you for
Wonderful.
having me. Greetings to the Wisdom podcasters. Everybody there, what's up?
Yeah, wonderful. So, all right, before we even begin with the fun questions I have, I just wanted to ask this. Like this one, I've always wanted to ask you. Guys, I don't like me and Bongani barely talk, so this is the one time I get to talk to him. That song you posted, that song, "Let's Get Married." For those people, for people who don't know, that's a song he asked. Oh yeah, you can tell me if I'm wrong. You asked your wife to be the backing vocalist while you were singing that song, and then jiggy jiggy, you're proposing. Can you
Yeah,
please just tell me the story behind that before we get to the question? I just want to know, how did you think of that, like Jay?
yeah. So I wrote the song a couple of years back, but never did anything with it. And then we had this event at church for couples, and I was leading that event. I was the lead singer there. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to somewhat do what I've been wanting to do, wanting to ask my girl to become my wife. So then I put the two events together, and I asked her to be a backing vocal on that uh, um, event. And then I put the song in the set list, and then I sang the song. Then Begum Nandi, we are performing. And then in the middle of the song, I then went to fetch her from where she was standing on stage. And then I proposed. So I felt that was a perfect moment there, because the song just simply says what I was asking: let's get married and have babies.
And I keep singing that song like on a regular. A shot and then in a shot. Please take it out. Like, like no, that was a beautiful jam. That one we deserve to hear it. Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
all right. So first question, eh? This is a fun question. It's not in the questions I sent you. Here now Jesu uyafika ungena kwakho. Okay? And he
Mm.
says he wants to sing. He wants to sing. What's the first song you'd ask Jesus to sing?
What? Okay. I'd probably ask him to sing something other than gospel. So maybe
Okay.
um yo I'd ask him to sing a I'm a piano song. That would be fun to watch.
That's funny.
Yeah. Izwa imithandazo yabatana bakho.
Okay.
Nkosi ile. And I'd probably ask him to dance to it while we're at that.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
It's I'm
You
a
just
piano. You can't sing while standing still.
yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. All right. Second thing. Um, you are asked to prepare the meal at the Last Supper. You're the chef on the day.
Mm.
What are you cooking for them?
I'm cooking ribs, my friend.
Okay.
Me, I'm a meat lover, so the food always have to have a variety of meat. So ribs, wings, and lamb chops, because it is the Last Supper. We're talking about the Lamb of God anyway. How do you leave lamb out?
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
And let's throw in there some garlic bread because yeah.
For the breaking of the bread, ne?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the last one, ne? You are asked to take out an album, okay,
Mm.
from one of the books of the Bible, but you're not allowed to use Psalms. What book are you going for?
Hmm. I think I'd go for Proverbs because Proverbs carries a lot of wisdom and it's also poetic. So it would be easy to write songs out of um, out of Proverbs. My second option would be maybe the book of Romans because it carries a lot of theological weight that I think if you write songs about it, you would be spreading a very heavy, um, godly message. Yeah.
It- Mara, Vele, why? Why don't we have an album from you? That's something I've always wondered.
A variety of reasons. I think it never became my priority. But I'll tell you the biggest reason has been finances because the desire is there, but it's very, very expensive to put out an album. Paying of the band, the studio time, mixing, mastering, and all the artwork, and that is without even the marketing that has to be done afterwards. So it's easy when you are signed, but getting signed is not easy. So as an independent artist, it's very, very expensive to put out an album. So I haven't had the luxury of finances to do that. I have put out and maybe let me before saying that, let me say I've also been struggling to decide what genre to do because I'm a songwriter. I've written songs in the gospel space. I am working in ministry full time, but I also write very beautiful Afro pop love songs. So I've been struggling to decide which route to take. I guess, yeah.
Okay, here's a suggestion. Here's a suggestion. Yeah. Why don't you do know you have a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why aren't you releasing music there?
Ah, you know what? I neglected it. I don't
Yeah.
want to lie. It's something that I've neglected over the past couple of years, and maybe it's worth thinking about. Yeah,
Welcome
yeah.
to Wisdom Podcast.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, because man, yo, no, like your songwriting, your pen. When I told my brother about me inviting you, he was just like, "Yeah, that guy is an amazing writer."
Yeah.
Let me someone ask, did you write the song "Make Me Beautiful," the one on Soul D?
Oh no, I did not. So Soul D, the most of the songs, a majority of the songs, they are written by Koketso Mulaule, the pastor of Muso Church.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a terrific songwriter. He's a brilliant songwriter, and a lot of people
okay.
don't know this about him. Even if you listen to Muso worship now, a majority of the songs they sing there are written by him. So because he can't sing, uh, I hope he doesn't watch this. Because he can't sing, so what he would do is he would just write on his bass because he's a bass player, and then he would send to me because I was playing piano and I was singing on Sold at the time. He would send to me and Pule. Pule is the guy that produced the music, arranged the music. He was our MD. So me and Pule would then sit down and work out the music. And then we would invite him into the session so that some of the words, some of the melodies, we can change them a bit, tweak them a bit. And then that's how a song would come about. So that song was written by him, and I can't take credit for that masterpiece, man.
Eh,
It's
but
such
just
a
Hey, but you killed it. Yo. And let me tell you the truth. I was about to pray, like I think it was last week, and I wanted to play that song while I was praying. It's no longer on Apple Music, and I couldn't figure out why. I was so heartbroken. But you killed
Oh,
it. Yo,
yeah,
yeah,
man.
no, you killed
Thanks,
it.
man.
All right. So for the people who don't know you, just do me a favor. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I wanted to mention your band. You remember there was a band, Nayo, in Kangala.
Yeah,
This Katin Biza Volungile bazodlala, I think they were called Purified at the time.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, I wanted to mention that, but I forgot the name. But anyways, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, obviously, for those that don't know, my name is Bongani Msiza. So I was born Gwandebele, right? You didn't know this?
Oh, I
Okay.
thought you were born in Kangala. Oh, okay,
No,
interesting.
I was born Gwandebele in Dofontein,
Okay.
in Mackay. That's where I grew up. And then for a bit of my life, I lived in Siabuswa. And then I moved to Nkangala, I think when I was about 10, 11, somewhere there. So that's where I spent a chunk of my childhood and my life. And then I've pretty much always known that I have a heart for music, right? I've, I've tried looking into other career paths, but I've always been drawn towards the arts space. So even when I was trying to convince myself to not do singing and playing, but I've always found myself drawn into something artistic like sound engineering, whatever. So I started playing keyboard and singing in church when I was very young. When I moved to Ghana, started by singing in Sunday school. Then later, I developed an interest for keyboard, so I asked this other friend of mine, Tofi Mandla, he taught me how to play keyboard. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we go way back. So yeah, he taught me how to play, and I played in church for a while until we formed this band that you're talking about, Passions Band.
Yeah.
That is the band. Yeah, we formed this band, and we just wanted to branch out of something other than church, because I had been playing just in church all my life, and I had never played in any other space. So we formed this band called Passions Band, and we were just playing weddings. We would play like pubs and clubs and restaurants, parties, whatever events, and we would write our own music, and we would sort of like take the pop, Afro pop, jazz covers, and just rearrange them, just have some fun with them. And then we did that for a couple of years and we built a friendship with my friends there. Did a couple of shows at Kasi and all of that. So, and then I moved to Pretoria, where I wanted to pursue more opportunities musically. That's where I worked a lot. Nabo Mandan Tlatlane, he's the one that I would say really plugged me into the music scene in Pretoria, because we are from the same township. And when I came, he was the first person to say, "Here's a gig." Yeah, so I owe him for that. And then out of that, it got me introduced to all these people that I know now. So I've been doing music for all my life. I did study sound engineering for a bit, and then I dropped out because of finances. But I also studied music for like 1 year, 6 months. And then I just worked in the commercial music space. Then in 2016, I transitioned a bit into ministry now, where I worked for a church full time in Centurion as a worship leader. Worked for about 3 years, and then I moved out of that space to pursue touring around the world with a show called The Greatest Love of All. It's a tribute show to Whitney Houston. So I played there, did backing vocals there, did a couple of countries. That was an exciting experience. But then recently I just had to stop that and come back into ministry because the calling was way too strong.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So it wasn't allowing for me to run away from it. I'm married, been married for 5 years now.
You have to mention that. You have to
Yeah,
mention
I have to,
that.
my friend. Otherwise, I'm in court by tomorrow. And we have one handsome son. Um, that's about 4 years old now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So it seems like you never left the art space, because even with like preaching, I see preaching as an art. And I mean, I was even looking at the sermon you were preaching, like the delivery, the technique, the jokes, that's such
yeah.
a it was a beautiful sermon. Yeah, and I'll add it to the link. But what I wanted to ask, a follow-up question, is I think they are people who must probably listening to this, or who will be listening to this, and they'll be asking themselves, Uguti, how do I stay when everything around me says don't do that? Because you spoke about how you were thinking of switching over into different career paths. And I'm
Mm,
assuming you were influenced, you were being told, "Well, no, why don't you try this? Why don't you try being a
yeah,
doctor or a lawyer?" How did you say, no, this is what I want, this is what I'm sticking to, and I'm not going anywhere?
yeah. I think for me, I'm driven by my passion for the industry and for the art itself, because I thought, and maybe let me put this out there, I did try something else. I worked at a call center and I only lasted 4 months. After 4 months, I was like, no ways, this is not me. So I'm very, very passionate. And I think what I said is, I'm not going to allow the thing of this thing doesn't pay and choosing a career that only pays because this one pays, that's what I'm going to. Because I know a couple of people that are working in fields that they don't like, but they just were after the financial security and they are frustrated. They don't enjoy their work. For me, more than the financial security, I wanted to enjoy what I do.
Mhm.
So that's what informed my persistence and to say I'm not going anywhere. I would rather find creative ways to make this thing sustain me, sustain my family, um, more than just what we know, doing a gig and getting paid.
Mm.
I wanted to investigate how else can I use this talent and do what I love doing and still get the financial security that I need. And that is for me an ongoing conversation because the music industry in itself changes so much in such a short space of time.
Mm.
So you always need to evolve and evolve and evolve and adapt. So so yeah, I had to make a decision whether I want to have money but be unhappy, or be happy and still find a way to make money while I'm happy. So for me, the joy that comes with producing music, being in a space that is artistic, it was worth more than being financially secure.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Um, okay. I know we need to move on, but I got a follow-up question as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You mentioned something about the music industry is always changing. Can you please elaborate on what do you mean by changing? What exactly is changing?
So how you make money. So for example, back in the day, you would have uh, released a CD, print a couple of copies, and you would go perform in different spaces and sell those CDs, and that's how you would make your money. But now music is released online. People don't buy CDs anymore, so and the money you get online is now a whole different story. So you need to always figure out, okay, now that we don't sell CDs anymore, we we release music online. How can I make that work in my favor? The second thing is uh, that people's taste in music changes because of all the music trends. More than 10, 20 years ago, there was no Amapiano. Nobody knew that. And, you didn't have this this vibe that's trending now of Afrobeat and all of that. So there was a time where you would get a wedding gig, for example, and do Brenda Fassie and Huma Sikela stuff, and people would be happy. But now you get a wedding gig and they want you to sing Davido. They want you to sing Maporisa. They want you. So you have to always learn how to do those things. And some of the stuff that you have to learn is that not everyone will want a band. So how then can I package myself without a whole band to be a product that I can sell? So that's why I had to learn how to use music production softwares so that I can also use music production as an income of a stream of income. I had to make sure that I sharpen my singing and my instrument playing so that I can do that. So now I can go to someone's party, someone's birthday party, and there's like 30 people in the room, and it's just me on the keyboard with one speaker and a mic, and I'm singing. Whereas when I first came into the industry, I never thought that was possible. I was just thinking I have to have a band or stuff like that. So it's there's forever things that change and tweak here and there that you need to also upgrade yourself, tweak yourself, upgrade your knowledge and all of that. Now the world revolves around social media. So then you need to learn how to make use of social media, make some videos, edit them. So you need to learn video editing softwares and not just your instrument. So it's that, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Yeah, no, industry in Aglala. You okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I was to be honest with you, I was scared to ask you this question, but I saw your status yesterday on your post on Instagram. I think it was yesterday or a couple of days ago, and it was just like, okay, this gave me confidence to ask it. So the quote, the thing you posted, the story you posted was about this man saying, "You owe us your testimony. We need to know what Jesus has done for you."
Mhm.
And if there's a testimony that I never really heard and I never got a clear picture of what was happening because I only saw it on Facebook. It
Yeah.
was, I think it was a week before or a day before your wedding, and
Mhm.
you went through that tough season. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna say anything about it. I'm just gonna ask you to tell us the story about it because wow, I need to know, how are you still alive?
Okay, so grab your tissues. It's about to get interesting. Hey, yeah, so hey, in Dabale, it was 2 days before my wedding, actually. It was 2017. Um, we were supposed to get married on the 8th of December. No, it was 2018. Sorry. It was 2018. We were supposed to get married on the 8th of December. So the 6th of December, the Thursday, we are doing final preps, right? And then my mother, because my mother also business here, deco and catering, she was going to handle our wedding for us and do that. So we were getting married at Jericho, which is where my wife comes from. So while we're doing final preps in Isekaya, we are helping my mother to pack some of the stuff that she needs. And then she had ordered ama underplate from this other guy. He was supposed to paint them ngesindebele. Yabona? So ugai usebenza slow. He's very slow, and he was supposed to finish on Thursday morning, and my mom was supposed to go to Atteridgeville and fetch them. But Thursday morning he wasn't done. Thursday afternoon he wasn't done. Thursday evening, he wasn't done. When it was going towards the night, we started getting worried, and we said, you know what? Maybe let's go fetch the ones he has done. I think he had done about 50. We needed about 200. So, and then we said to him, he can finish throughout the night and the Friday, and then we'll make a plan to send someone to come fetch the other ones on Friday, so that at least on Friday we can already go start with the work of maybe putting the underplates and stuff like that. So, obviously, because my mom was busy, she sends me. My best man, who's also my one of my best friends, he called me that same Thursday and said, "Look, I want to come where you are and help you get prepared, do your final preps, and then we were supposed to go sleep at the wedding venue on Friday. So Friday morning, me and him were gonna drive together in my car. So he comes, we spend the day together. At night, when we make the decision to go to Atteridgeville, he comes with me. So I'm driving, I'm in my car, he's sitting on the passenger seat. We pass by an ATM at the garage to take out money that we're supposed to give to this guy. And then we drive, we follow the GPS, right? So uh, we get lost a bit. Yeah, one. And then GPS just reroute. My rerouter, we were maybe about a minute away from the location. And then we are driving in this gravel road, it's like a squatter camp kind of community. And then me and him started feeling uneasy. We he is the first one that said, you know what, this place is dodge. Something doesn't feel right. And then but we saishang moy, and we continued with our conversation. So we are driving in this gravel road. So because it's a gravel road, I'm driving very slowly. So on our right hand side, there was this piece of land where amateksi, it looks like it's a place where they park overnight. Yeah, one. And then out of that space, kwangena kwapuma itaxi, it drove in front of me. Yeah? So I stopped. Me being me, I'm thinking, I'm a taxi driver. Sonke siyawazi njani. He's probably U-turning. So I just hit the brakes and then I waited for him. So now because we are talking, we are deep in conversation. So I'm looking at my friend. He's looking ahead. He sees something wrong and he calls out my name. He says, Bongan. Then when I turn and look, I see guns. And immediately, in a matter of seconds, they started opening fire. And they opened fire, my friend. We screamed. We did everything we could. So initially, in my head, as the bullets were raining, I thought this is a hijack. I also thought they maybe want to take something. So we kept saying, take the money, we are honest. We kept screaming those kind of things. But they're shooting. And then suddenly the bullets kept quiet and they drove off, those guys. But they passed us and they went to stop at the corner behind us. So now I'm trying to open my door. The first thing I started doing was I checked myself and I saw that I'm bleeding on my stomach. And then Calvin, my friend, asks me, all right. I'm like, no, bang to bleed. And then I tried to start the car, I start. And then I tried to open my door is not opening. Then Calvin says to me, iyekele asime kancane because mabangabona ukuthi sisaphila bazobuya bazoqedelela lento bayiqalile. So then we sat in the car for I don't know how long. In that moment your adrenaline is high. It's tough to measure time and all of that. So but we sat for a while in the car. And then they drove off, those guys. So when we saw, okay, now they are gone, it's then that we came out from the passenger side because his door was still opening, and started asking for help. And when we were asking for help, the community, they come out of their houses, but they stand a distance from us. When we try to get closer to them, they run away from us. Because chances are they thinking, ukuthi, labantu mabangabuya, bazoqedelela, nathi bazositubula. So they don't want to touch us. So we are asking them, please, someone call the police, call the ambulance, call something. I know they're not budging. Until there was this other guy that works for the forensics. I think it's like a government guy. And he he comes with the forensic baki there, and he parks right next to us, and he asks us what happened. We tell him, hey, these guys just opened fire on us. We don't know why. They didn't even take the money. We had cash on us. And obviously it wasn't a hijack, because why would you shoot at a car you're trying to hijack? Because you need to go resell that car after that. So it wasn't a hijack. This was a definite assassination attempt. So we tell that guy, he says, you know what, I'm gonna stand here with you, and I'm gonna call the cops and the ambulance, and I'm not gonna leave you. I'm gonna stand here with you until the cops get here, which is exactly what he did. And the whole time, Calvin, he's calling people. So when my battery was almost dead, his battery was also almost dead, but we managed to call a couple of people before our phones died. Me, the first person I called was my wife, but she was busy fitting her dress at the time, so she was very far from her phone. So when she didn't pick up, I tried calling my mom, but because my mom was also busy, she didn't pick up. Then the third person I called was my dad. And when he picked up, I broke down. I cried like a baby. I told him, I shouted, Bastubulile, Bastubulile. And then I managed to send him my location just before my phone died, so that I sent like a location, and they followed it to where we were. Calvin is busy calling his own people that side. And what he's saying when he calls people, he's like, "Ubongani bamdubulile." Because he had blood on him, but he thought the blood that was on him was my blood. Yeah. He didn't, his adrenaline was so high that he didn't notice that he also got shot. Me, I noticed because I checked and I saw blood coming out of my belly. So he only noticed when the ambulance got there, which was an hour after the incident, about an hour after the incident. That's how long it took for the police and the ambulances to get there. And then that's when he noticed, when the paramedics checked him and they identified the wounds. Me, I got 2 bullets that hit me on my stomach, and then I got one that hit me on the hand, like here. 44 bullets shot into the car at an 8-meter range. So what is considered a close range? 44 at an 8-meter range. It was a pure miracle. The forensic officer that was analyzing our crime scene could not scientifically explain how we came out alive. It took him 6 hours to analyze that scene, because my dad had to wait there on the scene for him to finish so that he could take the car. That's what the police said. They said, don't allow the police to tow the car, you take it. So it took him 6 hours for him to count the bullets and analyze and make up some theories and write a report, right? He says, I can't scientifically explain. He says, I don't know what to write on my report, because these guys are supposed to be dead. According to science, they are supposed to be dead, these guys. How on earth did they come out alive, walking by themselves? So it was a pure miracle. If I can tell you some of the things, one, there was bullet holes on our seats behind us, but we were both wearing seat belts, so there's no way we could have gone down, because the seat belt would have stopped us. So how the bullet hole hit behind us without the bullet passing through you is something that nobody can explain. The second thing was, there's a bullet that was, according to that forensic guy, was supposed to hit my head right here. It did not go through the windscreen. It left a crack. It's something out of a movie, né? Like John Wick. Hey. It's a miracle, man. If someone did not believe in God before this, they should know that the God that we preach is a powerful God. When we say God is powerful, this is one of the practical examples of his power, because that was his power at work there. Um, yeah, there's no other way to explain it.
Okay. Yeah, I should have listened to you and I should have fetched the tissues because wow.
Yeah, so obviously I had to cancel my wedding, because what happened was, and that's another testimony on its own, because when we got to the hospital, my friend had a medical aid. I didn't. So I went to Kalafong Hospital. He went to a private hospital. So um, there's this other doctor, a lady. She checks me. She does a sauna, and then she tells me that, the bullets had gone in from the left side of my belly and went all the way to my right side. Both of them, they were sitting on the right side of my belly. And then she said, she was thinking of just opening a small hole, extracting the two bullets, and then discharging me in time for my wedding.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then while she's processing, another, it's like, I think he was like the head surgeon of Kalafong at the time. That guy, he comes in the middle of the night, and he just feels in his heart that he just wants to check everyone that's in the emergency room, and he just starts checking everyone. Look, the doctors have already attended to all of us, but he decides, I'm gonna attend to everyone again. When he gets to me, he's like, did they check you? I'm saying yes. He says, what did they say? I tell him what they said. He opens my file. He starts reading. He starts checking. He says, you know what? These people, I don't trust them. Can I check you again from scratch, as if you've never been attended by a doctor? I said, do your thing. He starts running tests. He starts taking me to scans, to CT scan, X-ray, sonar, and then he comes back and he says, "Look, the scans are only telling us where the bullets are sitting, but they're not showing us any damage. But in my knowledge and experience, a bullet can come in here, travel all the way to the other side without puncturing anything inside here on its way." So he says, can I open you up in surgery and investigate the damage with my own eyes? So when you're in that condition, you are in pain, you will say yes to everything. So I said yes. I signed the documents. It took me to surgery that same night. I mean, no, on the Friday. So the surgery took 4 hours. And when I came out and when I woke up, he came to me and told me they found a hole in my stomach, I think my one of my intestines and the actual stomach itself. They found a hole there, and they had to patch that hole up. He says, had that lady just taken out the bullets and discharged me, I was gonna get an infection and I was gonna die in a week.
You you okay.
You see that?
Oh,
So that in itself is a miracle story of how God used this man and really impressed in his heart to check me again and do his due diligence with me. And this is something that he probably wasn't supposed to do, or he wasn't going to do. He was just going to come do his job, go to a surgery that he is scheduled for. But he just felt in his heart very pressed to look into my story. And that was God's intervention right there on my behalf. So I had to cancel the wedding, spent about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks in hospital. They opened me up from just below my chest all the way to under my belly button.
yeah,
So that was a hectic operation.
yeah,
But here I am standing.
yeah. Okay, okay. Here's what I want to know. Have you ever shared this story like in this much detail online?
I once did a Facebook Live and I told the story, but recently I shot this testimony with TBN.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still in edit. It hasn't aired yet.
Mhm.
It's gonna be like I know it was supposed to be 7 minutes, but I think they pushed it to like 15 minutes because the story is so inspiring, and it's gonna air anytime soon on TBN. Yeah.
I might push that we ate before TVN. I don't know. I'll talk to my
Uh,
team.
yeah, no, go for it.
Wow. Okay. You like even like okay. I mean, this is what I came for. This is why I asked you. This is why I called you. Ooh,
Yeah.
like what what changed in terms of, did your theology change in any shape, way, or form prior to the moment? Did you feel like you had a deeper connection with God? Did you have like a, is there something that you, before the event, you didn't really see that much, but after the event you were just like, this connected you, whether it be closer to God or in some shape or way or form? I hope this makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Definitely something changed. I believe God more now. I tell people when I preach that, look, I believe God like I'm out of my mind
Mm.
because I've seen Him do stuff in my life. I've seen Him save me literally from a rain of bullets. I've seen Him save my life through a doctor. I've seen Him come through for me and do the impossible for me. So when I have little problems like I have money problems or friendship problems or whatever, work problems, to me, that's nothing compared to what I've seen Him do in my life already. So it really bumped up my faith heavily. My faith is now, I'm like a crazy man when I say, look,
Come
I
on.
believe God. I believe He will do it. So that happened, and I guess it reassured me that I have a very strong calling and purpose, because why would the enemy want to kill me so bad? Then it means there's something really great that God has called me for. I'm not just
Mm,
getting by and just living my life and enjoying making music. There's a certain impact I have to make on people's lives that the enemy feels threatened by,
mm,
and that's why he wanted to eliminate me. And from there I've been so driven to really uh, work and impact people's lives and tell people about God. It's been my life's mission now since then.
and I think it makes sense now why you couldn't carry on with the tour and you had to come back, because the
Yeah.
calling, because this is huge. This is,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
like, and these guys, like, you don't know them. Like these
No.
guys, nothing.
Nothing. Nobody knows who they are and why they did what they did.
Like,
Nobody.
this was Satan straight in front. This was
Exactly.
Satan straight.
Yeah. No, Satan because I'm going so straight. Uh, and me and my friend, because my friend now is pastoring a church. He's grown so much in ministry and he's impacted so many people's lives. Uh, you know, so the enemy was really trying to get rid of us.
Just out of curiosity, have you written any song about this? Because this needs a song. This needs a song.
I did not. Funny enough, I write songs about so many things, but this one, I just found myself not saying anything about it. I have written a song and I put this thing in like one line of a verse, but never really wrote a full song about it. There's this other friend of mine that said we slept on money uh, because we could have done a podcast, we could have done shows, we could have written a book about it,
You know,
made a mini movie.
I mean, I mean,
We slept on it.
you know what, ne? You know what? Sometimes I think suggestions passed and we don't see that that's God speaking.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that you bring this up again, I'm just saying, I'm just saying,
You
consider
know,
it.
maybe we should. Maybe we really should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we should. I'll have to speak to a friend, that friend of mine, and see if we can't really retell this story because it's not old news.
It, it,
This is
it's
it will
so
forever be fresh. Yeah.
like, yo, I know.
Uh,
Ebile ngathi, I wish I could just call my mom so and then you tell the story all over again because this is yo.
yeah. Hey. No, it was
Okay.
hectic. Your dad came to the hospital. Did he tell you?
No.
Yeah. No, they came to see me while I was in hospital.
Hey,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know my dad is in way.
Ah,
Okay.
inceku, inceku. Yangincanywa le out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's fine. Let me take two questions from the questions I had prepared. And then yeah, we'll close from there.
Cool.
Okay. Ashmar, I feel like I don't want to close from there. No man, you know these stories are less, you know, man. It's just too, and it's you said 44 bullets, right?
44, yeah.
And the car seat had
Yeah,
bullets in it.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, fine. All right. All right. So, um, you know, you were preaching recently on one of the links on YouTube, and I was looking at your preaching, and you were talking about. Ish, I like this part where you mentioned Uguti. If it doesn't point us back to Christ, then let's just leave it.
Yeah.
And you were essentially saying that that's what you tell your worship team on a regular. But I
Mhm.
started wondering if you were given a platform, let's say, you know, every worship team in South Africa or let alone the world is here in front of us, and you were given an opportunity to talk to them, what would you say to them? You know, what do you think that the church as a whole or a lot of churches are lacking in terms of the worship team?
So I'll say a couple of things concerning that. One, this is something I say to everyone that joins my team, my worship team. I have an info session, and this is the first thing we say is that I don't believe that we are just a music making group. And how also we've been taught growing up in church is that we've been taught that music or the worship team, we are just there to sort of like marinate the atmosphere and prepare for the pastor to come preach. So it's not really that important. That's why our people are so they can so easily skip the worship time to come for the sermon at church. They arrive, if we start at 10, they arrive at 10:30 because they know that's when the pastor starts. Because they
Yeah.
are there for the word, because we think the delivery of the word by the preacher is what's more important than every other aspect of why we gather. I believe the worship is as important. If I want to simplify it, I say the worship is the word. We just add melody and rhythm to it. You know, so that if you see it that way, then you see the importance that it carries, because when we are busy worshiping, we are sort of like facilitating a conversation between God and man. God is singing over us and we are responding to him in worship, and we as worship leaders, we are I know we always argue on Facebook and say the Holy Spirit is the worship leader, but that's just a terminology thing.
Mm.
We are leading people in a time of corporate worship. We have the privilege to point people to Christ.
Yeah.
We have the privilege to one leader, friend of mine says, he tells it like this. He says, imagine you are driving, you're on a road trip going to the Karoo, Cape Town, Durban, wherever. And then you are in the car, it's just you and your friend, but your friend is blind. Ne? Your
Mhm.
friend can't see, but you can see. You are driving for sure. And then you see these beautiful mountains, this beautiful scenery. Think of going to Mpumalanga, there, Mbombela, all these beautiful mountains and that you see. And you're busy saying, wow, yo, wow. But you're not telling your friend that can't see what you are seeing. What do you think? He can't perceive that beauty, right? But when we put the right words to our worship, what we are doing is telling someone that hasn't perceived yet this beauty that we have discovered in Christ. That so when you are busy saying to your blind friend, these mountains, these rocks, these trees, they are so green, the clouds are white, the sky is blue, all of that, and you describe in detail, you are painting a picture in the brain of your blind friend and sort of like helping him see what you see. So I think that's the privilege we have as artists, as musicians, as worship leaders, worshipers, standing on that stage. The second thing I would say, which is what speaks into what I said about if it doesn't point to Jesus, count me out. Um, the book of Colossians, I think it's chapter 1, verse 28 to 29, where Paul says, Christ is the message. There's somewhere that where Paul also says God used to speak to the prophets in mysteries in the olden days, but now Christ is the language of God. I don't know. You'll have to Google that one. The language of God.
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, everything that we do, say, sing in a church setting has to carry Christ in it. It has to have the message. Christ has to be the content. It doesn't matter what the packaging is. So the packaging could be the sermon, or the music, or the events that we do in church, or the outreach, or anything that we do has to have the content inside, has to be Christ. That cannot be that cannot be compromised. So if it doesn't have Christ in the center, count me out, because Christ is the message. That is, Paul even goes on to say in that same scripture, I that's why I labor tirelessly to bring everyone to the full understanding of Christ, So Paul works so hard to tell people, to point people to Christ, because Christ is the only agenda here. Christ is the only program. He's the only thing that matters in that space. So if we are going to use music to create vibes, to just entertain people, to get people excited, it's not my job to get you excited about church. As a worship leader, it is really not. That's why I don't feel the burden in me to hype people up when they come on a Sunday morning. I'm not a hype man.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, I'm preaching now. But that was my answer.
I I see why the devil wanted you out.
Ish.
No, I see.
Yeah, he was trying to silence me, really.
Okay. And then you share lah. I just the deal.
Yeah.
I know sister deal. But here's another suggestion. Here's another suggestion. Why don't you start worship seminars? Worship seminars as well. That could work, Have
Yeah.
people pay to pull through,
Yeah.
I mean, there was something else I wanted to say, but I think it slipped my mind. And in your Palama notes, la marasin koshi. Okay. Where do people find you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm everywhere on social media. You can just search on Instagram. It's Bongs Music SA. Same thing on TikTok, and then on YouTube you can just search my name, Bongani Msiza or Bongani M. You'll find me there.
I remembered what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I don't want to influence your decision in any shape, way, or form. But I
Yeah.
think I would be jealous if you were to leave us. And by us, I mean the gospel genre.
Yeah.
Because wow, the wisdom you have, I really would be jealous. And like I said, I don't want to influence your decision in any shape, way, or form.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think, but I think you also can do. And I was talking to a friend of mine actually a couple of weeks ago, where I was saying to them, I think it would be nice if we were to have people in the circular space, but who are also Christians. And so I actually wanted to do it's something I have in my mind. I know I will do it. I'm not sure if I'll cut this part out or not, but we'll see. I wanna call like people who are in the circular space, but they've also got like a gospel background. And then we do
Mm,
outreach with them as well. Because for me, I think it makes sense to have people who are like an R&B artist and they're calling
mm,
people, who are singing in the R&B space. But obviously, we'll clarify that they'll be singing gospel in the day. But
yeah. Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, I thought I should just share that with you. But yeah,
Yeah. That's cool. I think on my end, I just need to, I guess, stop thinking about it again and really pray about it and hear what the Lord is impressing in my heart to do. Because I also am the kind of person that I don't want to do things for the sake of doing them.
yeah,
If it's not the right season for me to release an album, because maybe God still wants to change my mind about some things.
mm,
Because an album, especially gospel, it's dangerous if you're just gonna put it out there for the sake of putting it out there. Kanti, you put out the wrong theology out there, and people are going to take that, sing that in their churches, run with it, live by
yeah,
it,
yeah, 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 yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
you've just ruined a lot of people's walk with God. So I think when you talk about the gospel space, you have to obedience has to be the key. You have to wait for God to really say, to nudge you there and say, do it now. This is the direction you need to be taking. Otherwise, I'll keep busy with the work of the Lord until He pushes me in that direction.
Hayi baba Msisa, mina I see why the 44 bullets. Angifuni ukutshela manga. Hawa usathana ukwatile. For the mere fact that we're gonna air this episode, like the devil did not want us to air this episode. Cause wow, you
Yeah, yeah.
like,
No,
like that thing you're saying right now at the end, Yoguchi. If you take out wrong theology, you'll be making people sing wrong theology in the
mm,
and it
mm,
links well with what you were saying because you said in the beginning that worship like that part of singing, it's a conversation between
mm,
us and
yeah,
God. And
yeah,
so it will just be dead silence. Like there'll be no speaking
exactly.
of the oh
Exactly. And the danger is you are sort of like shaping people's picture about God, So for example, if you write a song where you are begging God to come close to you and it's a prayer, it sounds genuine. But when I take it and I sing it in my church, I'm sort of like creating a picture that God is far. And God is this person that you need to beg to come close to you. When Christ has already canceled the distance, So that's what we need to be. We need to be sort of like re-emphasizing to people the truth. Yes, people can be feeling like God is far because we do feel like that as people, but that's not what we need to be re-emphasizing. With the worship, we are emphasizing the truth. What is it that's true? That God is close. God has canceled the distance. The curtain has been torn. We have now full access to Him. Though that is, you see, if you put out songs, you need to be careful of what message you're putting out because you are shaping a picture about God to some people. There's so many people who are young in the faith that will take that thing and run with it and think when they pray, they need to ask God, please come to me. Please don't forget about me. All those kind of things. Yeah, that was just an example.
and it becomes very difficult like when you grow older to reshape your theology.
Yes, to unlearn some of these things, it is
Oh,
a
oh,
nightmare.
oh.
It is a nightmare, my friend.
Ay,
Yeah.
Mr. Msiza. Mm-mm. Ah, okay. Ebile, you know what?
Awunisweni.
Mangsuka la. I'm going straight to my dad and be like, Pops, no, Bongani Msiza. Everyone in the worship team has to watch what Bongani Msiza has been saying there about worship. Cause wow, you.
Yeah, man.
But I'm super excited for your future. Now I want to see your future more than
Yeah.
anyone else. I think there's a lot that God's gonna do with your life, and I'm just glad Uguti, I'm in the era where I get to see this. Oh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
okay, this wasn't part of the questions, and I know we need to go, but let me just ask this. Uguti, are you excited for the day you show your son the testimony you went through? Because I'm sure now he's a bit too young to understand what exactly
Yeah.
happened. So are you looking forward for the day where you just explain to him and you show to him like, my boy, look at what your
Yeah.
pops went through?
Yeah, I am. The answer is yes, and for two reasons. No? The first reason is, like you're saying, I'm excited to show him what God has done in my life, and I think it will also help him appreciate God more in his journey with God. The second thing is when he's. I'm waiting for when he, most of the adolescent stage when he starts misbehaving. I
Yeah.
can tell him that, hey, if it wasn't for God, you wouldn't be here, my boy, because I would be dead. So you must really appreciate God here. So, yeah, it's for those reasons.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful way to keep him in check.
Exactly.
Wow, this was a lovely episode, man. But thank you so much.
Mm.
Yeah, no, yeah, feel free to ask me to come back. You are welcome here anytime.
Please,
Yeah,
man. I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for having me.
yeah, no, this was awesome. The day you start with your worship seminars or when your album comes out or anything like that, just hit me up and let's promote it here on Wisdom Podcast. I would love to do that
Yeah, yeah.
for you. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, man.
Right, for everyone else, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. This was an amazing episode. I'm gonna definitely come back to this one. I'm gonna send it to my friends and their friends. And if you have a worship team, if you're a pastor's kid and you're listening to this, and if you're a worship team leader, just do me a favor, send this to the worship team as well, because the things we shared here, game changer. Anyways, peace. We be.